The Morpheus chip. A revolutionary implant that bridged biological and digital. Soon they found a way to rearrange matter, but it went wrong. We were surrounded by nanos, and they turned on us. Billions of lives lost, the world we knew, over. But we found a way to sync with nanos. To control them. Now the remaining survivors are fighting back. Those of us left are trying to get on shuttles headed for the only safe place. Off-planet. And the tech that almost destroyed us might just save us.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Keighley, and welcome to the Synced Off-Planet Showcase at Gamescom 2021. During opening night live, we gave you a quick glimpse at this new breed of shooter launching on PC in 2022. Now it's time for a deep dive into the gameplay with the team from Next Studios in advance of the playable Advanced Alpha, where you can play on September 3rd. Synced Off-Planet is a companion-based shooter set in a techno-apocalyptic future where you and your team fight together against enemy teams. The twist comes from your ability to synchronize with NANO companion classes, which can be deployed in combat. Together, you strengthen your squad, upgrade your weapons, and uncover the mystery of how society's greatest innovation went wrong. Over the next half hour or so, I'll be joined by the game's creators and even some community members to talk about everything from the gameplay to the design and abilities of the nanos. We'll give you a taste of the world, story, and lore, introduce Haven, Sync's home base of operations, explore the game's sound design, and finally, we will share how you can be among the first to play by registering on syncedoffplanet.com for a chance to join the Advanced Alpha test. So, to kick us off, let's hear from the development team, who will take us through a game overview.
Synced Off-Planet is a game the team has been working on for the past couple years. It is a third-person multiplayer tactical shooter, and we're defining a new subgenre called companion-based shooter. One of the core gameplay is player can weaken the enemy, then overwrite the code in their enemy, so make the enemy become and reform as a companion, as a sync nano that can fight along with you. That creates some very unique gameplay experiences and a brand new tactical gameplay.
You can either enter a match solo or you can party up with 2 other friends. There's always 3 players per match. And if you go in solo, you can buddy up with people as well.
The key to win in the game is really about working with your teammate. The teamwork and tactical choices is ultimately important. And one of the elements is in the gameplay, every player can have their own nano. And every sync nano will have their own unique abilities. For example, some nano can give you the information of where the enemy is. Or there's other type of nano can really suppress the enemy from long range. Working with your teammate, use the different abilities of the sync nano can ultimately help you to win the game. I think that the game is not simply a battle royale. What we're doing is delivering different type of game modes to the players that, someone will really like the PvE aspect of the game, but some other people might really like the very classic battle royale type of gameplay. We will have them all in the game, and hopefully that a player will find their own user stories across different modes. Fair play is still very important, so all the PvP part of the gameplay, all the different modes in PvP, the fair play is still the key. And the PvE part of the game mode that will provide extra challenges and more variation in terms of, the every run can be different. So that is more focused on the player-driven experience, but the PvP is really about fair play and let people, to create their unique combat experience.
Regroup! Gotta reload! One of the key parts of the PvE mode is collecting corruption data, and you can only do that really by kind of killing nanos. So if we left the player with limited ammunition and weak weapons, they weren't then encouraged to go and seek out nanos to collect the data that they needed to actually progress. So what we did is we made ammunition much more common. We made it so that weapons were easier to find, and that meant the players had a lot more fun actually going out and seeking nanos, and it made the player feel a lot more powerful. My favorite aspect of PvE is the extraction from around.
On the extraction, when the Dragonfly, which is the ship that comes to rescue you, flies in, you get hordes of nanos, and you get elites, which are nanos on steroids, and they come in and they also attack the ship at the same time.
We created this horde mode, so as time goes on, the number of enemies and the frequency of them increases, and that increases intensity for players, and it creates a really strong climax to the end of a round.
Now, one of the coolest and most unique parts of the gameplay is team strategy, where you use your command of the environment while working with teammates in tactical combinations. But more than anything, I like weaponizing my enemies. That's right, you can do that in this game. Syncing with nanos to outlast and outsmart the competition. There is nothing else out there like it, and it adds another layer of strategy to the multiplayer combat. And speaking of the nanos, let's hear more specifics around their design and abilities from the studio team.
There are 4 basic types of Sync Nano that you can capture in the gameplay. There are Crushers, Suppressors, Guardian, and Seer. And every type have a unique ability and tactical options for the player. For example, Crusher is a giant monster, very focused on the damage output, and Suppressor always keep a long distance, and then we're just firing the weapon and suppress the enemy, can pin them down. Guardian is very useful because you can use Guardian to form a shield in front of you. Not only you, but also your teammate can benefit from this production. So the last one, Seer, is the most interesting one. The Seer can scan the area and tell you where the enemy is. So especially for Sniper, for people very enjoy the Sniper gameplay, having the Seer with them will have a huge advantage because the Seer can just mark the enemy 50 meters away. And only thing for you is to fire the bullet. We're not only visually created a unique enemy that never been seen before, but also every nano, they will have something in the story. With all those things together, when you see your enemy using one type of nano, what you need to do is, are you in a better position, or you need to switch your Sync Nano. Alongside with your teammate, alongside with the scavenging loop, gathering resource, all that, every time you play, you create your own unique nano. And that maximizes the option on the tactical gameplay. Plus, this whole Sync Nano mechanic is just one click away. We minimize the input for the player. And we don't want player to just press a lot of buttons to make one command. No, that's not cool. Just one click away, you can send your nano to a place to guard, you can send your nano to lock on an enemy, or you can just ask your Sync Nano to follow you to provide some basic support. I think the 4 basic type is good, and we can expand them to have different variations, but people will still have an easier time to learn and master what they are. But along the line, there will be a 5th type, and there will be a 6th type. And how to balancing them and have every individual Sync Nano have their own unique ability in terms of tactical gameplay, that's always a key to us.
You can be among the first to play Synced Off Planet by registering to join the game's advanced alpha test. Just sign up at syncedoffplanet.com and you will receive the Founders Pack of in-game digital items that include a very cool nano and weapon skin. Now, I'd like to introduce the game's narrative director, Kevin Short, who will share a deeper dive on the game world, story, and lore. Kevin?
Our game is set in the near future. Years from now, mid-century, the world was captivated by the latest technology, the Morpheus chip. It's a brain-computer interface that went leaps and bounds beyond the smartphones and consoles that we know of today. Now users had instantaneous access to any data or app in the world. They were hardwired into the internet. But an update to the chip was infused with nanite technology, and that update was corrupted and it spread instantly. And it triggered a global crisis where all users of the new update were infected with nanites and permanently transformed into these deadly machines that we call nanos. Governments and social order across the globe shut down, and the world fell into chaos, leading us unavoidably towards a devastated world where the remaining survivors must fend off nanos as they fight for a seat on escape shuttles heading off planet. You are a survivor in this post-collapse future where billions of people have been transformed into nanos. The nanos are roaming the world, attacking Earth's remaining survivors who all fight for this chance to escape off planet. Now it's your job to help other survivors reach escape shuttles to an off-world space station. The problem is those seats are limited. You'll be fighting others to claim those seats. So this world becomes a fight against nanos and against rival survivors. But underneath all this lies a mystery. What exactly triggered this corruption? Who's behind it? And what's their ultimate goal? Someone's got purpose in all of this. Unraveling that purpose and how you fit into it will become a key part of your experience in Synced Off-Planet. The game will operate in season cycles. As with many seasonal games, each release will feature new content, new modes, new gear. Now, for the lore of the game, every season will focus on a single storyline within the world of Synced. These will feature specially crafted missions, and all content and updates that you get in the game will support that season's storyline. That's where Haven comes in. It becomes the player's hub where they go to unlock new story missions. These can range from fully crafted gold missions and silver missions down to more task-driven bronze missions. All of them together are going to tell the story of Synced Off-Planet. Now, each season builds on the previous season, unraveling more and more of our world lore.
I have to say, the lore behind the game's technology and the way it goes wrong on a global scale almost doesn't feel like science fiction. There is so much going on today to do with technology and interconnectivity that could very easily unravel, so it's a very timely and relevant story. Next up, let's hear more about Haven, the game's important hub and base of operations, and then we'll touch on Sync's sound design.
Haven is the gateway into the game. Haven is the shelter between the rungs of different attempts the player wants to get out of. One thing that this game is really, really special is it's not just a competitive game. It has a story, and that is something that Clark is very, very keen to promote. And in order to deliver that narrative, then things need to progress, things need to evolve, and Haven is the space for that to happen.
In terms of how players will enjoy Haven, I think it's a really interesting space. It's a lot more interesting than a kind of traditional kind of hub world or just having kind of a menu. That would be a very easy way to have players kind of interact with the different parts of Synced Off-Planet.
We really want the player to immerse in this environment. And I think the settings of this game really, fortunately, give us a lot of opportunity to do that because the technology allows us to utilize holograms and we can embed graphic information onto the devices. And as you go through the different sections that in the game, that you will see holograms that projecting those information floating in 3D spaces. So you don't feel that being detached from interacting with the world. But at the same time, those critical information the player needs to decide what they do next is readily available to them.
I think the nice thing about it as well is the player has a very intense experience when they're fighting nanos, but when they return to Haven, that's a really good opportunity for them just to take a breath, calm down a bit before they go into their kind of next run.
We want to give player this growing sense of hope, but Haven is not your destination. The narrative, the story, the goal for the player is to eventually get off the planet.
Players are having a growing demanding of sound as a more accurate information in games. Synced Off-Planet is a shooting game. The gun is definitely a main character. All the gun sound assets are recorded from real weapons in various exterior and interior environments.
This is the target!
to give players satisfaction alongside the visuals.
Gotta reload. Regroup.
We hope every type of nano, they have specific and symbolic sound to that. And I did all of them by myself. And then put them into the software and mix that with all those kinds of noise together.
Using a crashed escape shuttle as an upgradable haven you return to after matches to unlock gear and chat with NPCs is a great way to improve survival skills while also connecting you with other survivors. Now, in the haven for me, you can customize your loadouts, your weapons, and I like to customize a sniper rifle and value the time it takes to customize that because it allows you to be the absolute best you can be with that weapon in combat. Now, here's more behind the scenes with the development team.
One of the things that people might not know that we have multiple sites working on this project that we collaborate with CJ, our narrative consultant in New York, and also obviously Clark is leading the team that in Shanghai.
What we found is by working with Next, they've got strengths from their studio and the previous projects that they've worked on, and we've got unique areas that we've worked on in game development. And by combining the two, we've been able to create a really unique experience for the game and something that I think our players are going to find very interesting.
When we're working with Next, they never kind of prescribe what we need to do to change. It's more, they'll describe kind of a feeling that they want the player to feel or a different kind of motivation. And then we work to come up with a really good solution for that, and then we present that back to them.
There's been a real flow of ideas and creativity coming from both studios. With us working in different time zones, essentially we're working while they're sort of logging off and they're logging on when we're logging off. So it's led to this continuous development to help create a more exciting and interesting game for our players.
It's always fun to peek behind the curtain and see how the game is made from the teams who are making it. Now let's hear from the Synced community about the game.
First time I noticed Synced Off Planet was a Gamescom trailer done by NVIDIA showing off the RTX features within the game and controlling the Nano Swarm and the Nano AI around the map.
I noticed that it was a battle royale, and I do quite like battle royales. And the fact that it had a Nano style or like post-apocalyptic feel to the game, it felt quite different to the usual battle royale game you see on the market today.
Out of the game modes in Synced Off Planet, the one that I'm really looking forward to is the PvE mode that's coming up. I play a lot of PvE-based games, and I think in addition to having the Haven that you upgrade and can get extra fighters in, the PvE mode will be a good game changer to actually help develop the Haven as well as my gameplay.
It brings a new dynamic to the play style, and the fact that I can have this companion and there's different approaches to different styles. It's not just run and gun and point your gun and shoot. You got to think about how you approach each strategy.
I enjoy being a part of the Synced exclusive alpha community because everyone that I've met and spoken to there has just been great. The community team themselves have been really just welcoming to everyone that's a part of it, and just everyone's so kind and just happy to play with one another.
I really love the opportunity to have an effect on a game that's coming up, especially a game that's got lots of potential. I think that it's great to be a part of a community that's very supportive, and everyone it's great to collaborate with a lot of different people and people that are very passionate about the game, as well as we can sort of do the best that we can for the game as well.
It's always great to hear from the community. They are an IP's earliest adopters who spend hours and hours in the game and are very vocal about it. It's so important their voices are heard. Be sure to follow Synced Off Planet on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Discord. Now, narrative director Kevin Short is rejoining to speak in more detail about the advanced alpha and how you can be among the first to play Synced Off Planet. Kevin?
I'm excited to announce today that our advanced alpha will be live next week from Friday, September 3rd throughout Europe, America, and Canada. Exact timings will be available on our website, syncedoffplanet.com. For the very first time, many of you PC players will be able to play Synced Off Planet together, online. Our goal here is to offer a sneak peek of what's to come and to get feedback from you on the core gameplay. We want to learn what you like about the game and what needs improvement, because we want to ensure you'll get the very best experience. I'm pleased to confirm today that all players registering on syncedoffplanet.com for the Advanced Alpha will receive our Founders Pack, containing nano and weapon skins to make you easily identifiable in the future as an original playtester. What's in our advanced alpha? We're happy to say that players will be able to play all 3 main modes from the game. In Shuttle Rush, there will be 3 rounds of incoming shuttles for players to capture, and every successful escape with a captured shuttle will award players a load of combat points. The team with the top score at the end will win the game. As the game progresses, each round will have fewer shuttles available. Players will compete for a place on 3 shuttles in the first round, a place for 2 shuttles in the second round, and for a place on the final single shuttle in the third and last round. Between those shuttles, players will also be able to find tons of random events happening in the field, like airdrops, powerful elite nanos, dark zones, and a bunch of others. Our second game mode is off-planet. Also PvP, the off-planet mode features only 1 single shuttle, and players do not have the ability to redeploy. It's a more intense kind of experience for everyone. If you're eliminated, you're out. And there is only 1 team that can successfully capture the shuttle and escape at the end. But how you do it all depends on your tactics and your teamwork. Our third game mode to try during our advanced alpha is called NANO Rise. Here, the PvE gameplay allows players to explore the world with their teammates, make their way through various challenges, and then work together to try and take down a boss. If your team fails, you'll be sent back to Haven, but still claim some rewards. If successful, you and your team can move to the next round of gameplay with tougher challenges and risks, but also the opportunity to earn even greater rewards. Remember, this is an advanced alpha. Our goal is to give you a preview and get your feedback to improve the game. So, all your stats are not going to be carried into the game's official release, but your feedback will. Spaces are limited and will be available on a first-come, first-served basis. We can't wait to see you online starting September 3rd.